Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to another Ask Me Anything. As always, send questions to askphil@app, and I'll try to answer the best ones. Let's dive into this week's questions. First question this week is one that we actually get a lot, which is, do we plan on adding speaker notes or teleprompter-like functionality into Basically, people want a way to have text scroll by as they're speaking to remind them of what they're going to say. And the answer is yes, we are working on this. All right. That's enough of that. Next question. People want to know what's the best way to send us feedback about our Windows beta. We always want to get feedback, especially about the Windows beta. That's the whole point of the beta. The best way to reach us for anything is to send email to help@app. Try to include as many details as possible about if you're having a problem, what your configuration is, what the problem is, or if you have a question or a suggestion. The reason that we do these betas is not to build hype. It's not a marketing campaign. We build betas so that we can, as quickly as possible, ship a high quality product. So we need as many people as possible testing it. Right now we are in open beta on Windows, which means anyone can test it. And it really depends on getting high quality feedback, which we've gotten a lot of high quality feedback so far, but would very much love to hear from you about the Windows beta or anything else. Help@app. Our next question is a very good one. It's about file security. We introduced a feature a few weeks ago that lets you import files into, convert PowerPoint, PDF, Keynote files into presentations. And someone wrote in asking, what is the security of that like? Where do those files live? Do we have access to them? How long do they stick around? All of that kind of stuff. Great question. I think it's really important to know this for any product you use. So this very much falls under rule number one of privacy and security, which is rule number one is your data is your data. We believe that when you put something into it doesn't become ours. It stays yours. It's your property. You are lending it to us. You are entrusting it to us for some period of time to do something that you want us to do with it. But we have to take care of it, and after that thing is done, we shouldn't have it anymore. It's not it doesn't become ours to do with as we see fit. I think it's really important. Like, we can't monetize your data in any way that you don't want us to do. It isn't just stuff that we get to fiddle around with just because you've sent us something. So specifically, the way that feature works is when you drag a file into we upload it to our servers. We're on Amazon in the Amazon cloud. And then we contract with a commercial file conversion service, just because it's easier to do the actual conversion in the cloud than to do it on your local machine. Because if we did it on your local machine, we'd have to write conversions for every type of file on every type of platform, on Mac, on Windows, eventually on iOS and Android. It would just be too much work and very unreliable. So you send us your PDF or Keynote or PowerPoint. We contract with a commercial service to actually do the conversion. They have access to those files for 15 minutes. So we've set up a 15-minute buffer just in case the internet is really slow or you've given us a really monster file. They convert the file, they send it back to our servers, we send it to you. Usually the whole round trip only takes a minute or two, but again, for monster files or really bad interwebs congestion, it may take longer. Your files then sit around on our servers for a couple of hours, up to 24. So depending on kind of when you did it and where it falls into our daily flush cycle, we have those files sitting on our Amazon servers for a few hours on average. Again, up to 24, and then at that point they're flushed from the system. They're gone forever. We don't look at them, and we don't look at them while we have them either, unless you contact us in that time period with some kind of a serious problem that we have to troubleshoot or something. So the third-party commercial service gets them for 15 minutes, and then they're gone. We get them for a few hours, and then they're gone. We don't look at the stuff. We don't need to keep your files around, and so we don't, because your data is your data. Next question is one that we also strangely get quite a bit, which is about my glasses. People want to know what kind of glasses these are, because I guess they don't reflect light on camera, so they look decent on camera, as decent as something sitting on my face could look like. They are Jins. This is my favorite brand of glasses. We have no affiliation with this company. I'm just a fan, kind of friendly with the CEO and some people there, but just have liked their stuff for a while. Japanese glasses company. They have hundreds of stores in Japan. And they make glasses. These are about, I don't know, they're like 80, 100, 120 bucks kind of total, including the lenses, the frames, the eye exam, kind of everything in Japan. It takes only 20 minutes. It's amazing. You go in, they do an eye exam, and the robot makes your glasses, and you can pick out hundreds of different frames. It's super cool. It used to be a thing that I really loved doing in Japan. I would go to a gin store and walk out with a few different pairs. Probably, over the past decade, I've bought, I don't know, 10 of these things, maybe a dozen, just, as my eyesight changes. At any given time, I think right now I've got 3 sitting on my desk that I choose from. They have stores in the US. I don't know if the US or Japanese stores are actually open now because of the pandemic. Hopefully they'll be reopening soon. But you can also order stuff online in the US and Japan, kind of everywhere as well. So big fan of gins. Next question, actually 2 questions, but they're related, so I'll answer them both here, which is about slide customization. One person wanted to know if we will let you customize what text slides look like, change the colors, the fonts, the alignment, all of that stuff. And the answer to that is kind of. So the way that we're handling slides is we want to make it really, really easy to make very simple but beautiful slides that you don't have to fiddle around too much with fonts and sizes and adjustments and alignment and all of that kind of stuff. So if you just type in a text slide like this one, these adapt automatically, if you leave the settings alone, to the rooms. So if you change to different rooms like this or like this, you can see that the slides automatically get restyled to match the ambiance, match the mood that the room is trying to set. And we're going to add other styles and other rooms in the future. We think this is pretty cool, pretty important. You can also modify the styles a little bit yourself. You can select which style you want. You can do that on the right side of your slide tray. There's a little appearance pull down, or you can do that for each slide yourself. I don't think we're going to add that much more micro control of slides, because our philosophy is if you want to specifically say, I want this color, I want this font, I want this spacing, then you should use something like Keynote or PowerPoint or Canva, or make a PDF. And that's why we make it so easy to import those kinds of files. So if you need pixel level control, then I make that stuff in Keynote and just drag them in. That gets imported. Like we just talked about, we only hold on to those files for a few minutes to a couple of hours, and then they're sent back down to your client. And I do that when I need really design level control. Most of the time, though, I think it's easier to just type in a few words, have it auto adjust, and keep it simple. The related question to that was, can I customize the look of a whole bunch of slides all at once versus doing it one slide at a time? And the answer to that is, the first part of that answer is yes, kind of. You can do that now by changing the appearance. So you can change the appearance for your entire presentation. Again, that's the pull down that says appearance in the bottom right of your slide tray. That only lets you change the visible style, the visual style of the slides. Probably what this person was asking for was about slide presets. This really powerful feature called slide presets that lets you customize everything about a slide. The room, the presenter, the filters, your position, kind of absolutely everything. But you have to do that for one slide at a time. And it would be easier if you could do it for a whole bunch of slides. And that is definitely something that we are working on. In fact, no, that's not going to happen. Thanks.